Libra love, this message isn't just guidance, it's a wake-up call from the cosmos. Something is coming this Saturday, November 8th, a revelation so real, so raw, that it might move you to tears. Not because you're breaking, but because for the first time in a long while, you'll finally feel seen. Heard. Chosen. You didn't land on this video by chance. The universe doesn't waste its signs. When the stars align with the Hermit, the star, and the Wheel of Fortune in one spread, it's not just a reading, it's a spiritual intervention. And Libra, it's aimed directly at your heart. So let me ask you, have you ever felt like the world keeps spinning but your soul is stuck on pause? Like you're holding everything together for everyone else, the peacemaker, the anchor, the quiet strength, and yet, deep down, a whisper inside you is pleading, but what about me? This reading today is that whisper being answered loudly. It's not always loud when truth comes knocking. Sometimes it shows up in soft tears, in unexpected messages, in the stillness right before everything shifts. And make no mistake, Libra, everything is shifting. November 8th is not just another date. It is a divinely timed moment on your soul's timeline, a destined pivot point. Something or someone will arrive. A message, a truth, a release. And though it may be disguised as ordinary, it will change everything. But before we dive into what's unfolding, I want to take a sacred moment to thank you. Thank you for showing up here, exactly as you are. Thank you for trusting the pull that brought you to this message. Thank you for the likes, the shares, and the way your energy lifts this entire soul family. Each comment, each subscription, each whisper of resonance strengthens the circle we're building here at Zodiac Whisper Tarot. Your presence is not background noise. It is the signal. You're not here to watch, you're here to remember. So I ask you now, with reverence and hope, comment below with the number 7 if something inside you feels called, even if you don't know why. 7 is the number of divine timing, of cycles completing, of truth rising. And your truth is rising, Libra. Stay with me through every second of this video. Let this reading be the mirror your spirit has been waiting for. Because I promise what you'll uncover by the end may not only move you. It may just restore something you thought you lost. This is your moment, Libra. Let's begin. There are moments in life when we think we're simply moving through the motions, checking our calendars, answering messages, running errands, but beneath the surface, something deeper is being orchestrated. And for you, dear Libra, November 8th is one of those moments. What may look like just another Saturday from the outside could actually become one of the most defining energetic pivots in your inner landscape. The kind of day that realigns not just your plans, but your perception, your healing, and your destiny. When I drew the cards for you, the Star, the Hermit, and the Wheel of Fortune, I didn't just see symbols. I saw a progression. A sacred sequence. A quiet storm gathering behind your stillness, preparing to deliver the very shift your soul has been whispering for. The Star is the light you've been carrying quietly through your hardest seasons. It's that gentle part of you that still believes even after disappointments, after delays, after detours. It speaks to your ability to hold space for yourself and others even when you're depleted. It reminds you that you are not broken, you are luminous because you've been broken and chose to keep shining anyway. Then comes the Hermit. He's not a card of isolation but of introspection. He shows up when life is about to change, not on the outside, but first from within. You've likely been feeling it, the emotional fatigue, the desire to pull away, the questions rising late at night. That's not weakness. That's your spirit preparing. The Hermit invites you to pause, not because something is wrong, but because something big is coming. He's the soul's way of saying, slow down. There's a light ahead, but you must adjust your eyes before you see it. This moment, this pause is not empty. It's sacred. And it's yours. And then, the wheel of fortune turns. Suddenly, what once felt stuck starts to move. The stagnant relationship, the financial waiting game, the dream you shelved, they all shift. But here's the part many forget, the will never moves randomly. It responds to frequency. It rotates when your inner world becomes aligned with possibility. When you stop forcing, stop hiding, stop pretending. And Libra, you are right there. This Saturday may bring something small, a message, a conversation, a flash of clarity, but don't underestimate it. Often, the most profound redirections come softly. Numerologically, the date August 11th holds rare potency. The number 8 carries the vibration of balance, power, and karmic justice. It's about what returns after what was taken, not as payback, but as restoration. And 11. That's a master number. It speaks of spiritual gateways, moments where intuition overrides logic and grace takes the lead. Combined, this is a day made for spiritual awakening and material realignment. You might not know what's shifting yet, but your body does. That tightness in your chest, that flutter in your stomach, that's your energy field responding. That's your inner compass sensing that something is being rearranged on your behalf. Sometimes, change doesn't come as thunder. It comes as an invitation. And the universe is sending you one now. You won't need to chase it. Just stay open. Listen. Let the signs be enough. And when they arrive, as they surely will, don't overanalyze. Don't doubt. Respond from your heart. Because this isn't about perfection. It's about presence. As someone who has guided many through these energetic turning points, I've seen how seemingly simple moments become divine markers. I've seen people stumble into conversations that led to love. I've seen jobs lost on Fridays become new paths by Monday. I've seen text messages open up healing between souls who hadn't spoken in years. The world moves like that, subtly, but purposefully. And the hand that moves it? Sometimes, we call it fate. Other times, grace. Either way, it's moving for you now. If this message speaks to something stirring in you, comment below with the number 7. Let it be your confirmation to the universe, I'm ready for the shift. Because no matter how small it begins this Saturday, Libra, your story changes. And not because you were lost, but because you are finally ready to come home to yourself. Somewhere between being the anchor for others and the diplomat in every room, Libra, you may have forgotten how to hold yourself. You've mastered the art of grace, moving through discomfort with poise, smoothing over tension with a smile, and showing up even when no one asked how you were really doing. And yet, beneath that beauty and balance, there's a quiet weight you've been carrying for too long, a weight that was never yours to begin with. What no one tells you is that being the peacekeeper often comes at the cost of your own peace. But this chapter isn't asking you to maintain appearances anymore. It's asking you to break free. The energy we explored earlier, the spiritual architecture forming around November 8th, was just the beginning. That was the cosmic signal. Now we're stepping into the part that feels personal. This is the invitation for you to reframe what strength really looks like. Because strength, Libra, is not in holding it all together. It's in knowing when to let go. It's in realizing that being whole doesn't mean being silent. You were not born to be everyone else's source of balance while your own needs go unmet. You are allowed to fall apart. You are allowed to be seen in your becoming, not just in your polished presentation. The Hermit shows up in this reading not to isolate you, but to illuminate you. He's the part of you that has been longing for stillness, for truth, for the voice behind the performance. He carries the lantern not just to guide others, but to guide you back to yourself. And when this archetype appears in a Libra reading, it speaks louder than usual. It says, you've been giving, offering, listening, softening. But now, it's time to receive. And that can feel strange at first, even uncomfortable, especially when your worth has been quietly tied to what you give. But consider this: what if your worth was never in your usefulness, but in your presence alone? In self-healing journeys, one of the hardest truths to accept is that we don't have to earn rest, or love, or support. We don't need to arrive perfectly packaged with answers and smiles. Sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is place your hand over your own heart and whisper, I don't need to be strong all the time. Let that whisper be your ritual. Not once, but daily. Especially in moments where the urge to hold it all together feels overwhelming. That is when your soul is calling you home. There's a subtle but powerful shift that happens when we finally give ourselves permission to stop performing. It's as if the universe has been waiting for you to let down your guard so it can step in and carry what's become too heavy. And maybe, just maybe, this is the miracle in disguise. Not the sudden disappearance of the burden, but the gentle awareness that you no longer have to carry it alone. That you were never meant to. Many people think divine intervention always looks dramatic, but sometimes, it arrives as an ordinary realization. A breath. A sentence that lands deeper than expected. A quiet afternoon where you finally feel safe enough to not be on. And in that softness, something sacred begins to bloom: space. Space for you to feel again. To be met, not just needed. To be witnessed, not just admired. If that moment hasn't arrived yet, it's on its way. But you don't have to wait passively. You can choose to begin now. Not by doing more, but by choosing less. By returning to your center. By believing that ease is not a reward, it's your birthright. And if you're feeling the quiet call of that truth, don't keep it inside. Take one small but powerful step forward. Comment below, I give myself permission to receive. Let those words seal your intention into the current of your life. Because this is your freedom ringing, Libra, not with loud explosions, but with quiet clarity. And you're ready to answer. Not every kind of light comes from joy. Some of the brightest, most healing light comes from the spaces where you were cracked, from the moments that softened you, not because life was easy but because you kept showing up anyway. Libra, the star doesn't appear for those who are at the beginning of their journey. It appears after the tower has fallen, after the illusions have collapsed, and after the heart has been tested. That's why its presence here in your reading, in your life, in your spirit is not just beautiful. It's sacred. For far too long, you may have felt unseen in your most authentic form. Perhaps you learned early on that in order to be loved, you had to hide your complexity. That being graceful meant being quiet. That peace meant pleasing. And so you polished yourself into someone lovable, digestible, safe, all while slowly dimming your own flame. But the star is here now to remind you, you were never meant to hide behind perfection. You were meant to shine because of your truth, not despite it. In my years guiding souls through self-reclamation, I've witnessed this moment countless times, the moment when someone finally sees their pain not as shame, but as a teacher. When they look back and realize that every time they felt invisible, they were actually being strengthened. Every time they felt dismissed, they were being refined. Not because they were unworthy, but because their path was being carved out for something more honest, more aligned, more real. And now, Libra, the universe is turning the mirror back to you and asking, are you ready to be seen not for what you've survived, but for who you've become because of it? There's no more need to shrink, to edit, to ask permission to be radiant. Your light is not conditional. It's not reserved for moments when you have it all figured out. Your light is allowed here, now, in the middle of the healing, in the middle of becoming. The signs that you're ready have already begun. Maybe someone has entered your life recently who doesn't demand you to earn love. They just offer it naturally, freely, without performance. Maybe you found a space, a place, a corner of quiet that feels like a return home. Maybe it's this very moment, right here, right now, that feels different. Calmer. More aligned. These are not accidents. These are confirmations. This is what it feels like to be met where you are, without expectations, without masks. It's the slow, soul-level exhale you take when you realize you no longer have to strive to be enough. You just are. I've seen people experience divine intervention not through thunder, but through quiet moments that whisper, you are exactly where you need to be. And while I won't name it as spiritual, I will say this: sometimes, life itself rearranges in your favor the moment you stop hiding from your truth. You don't have to push to be understood anymore. You don't have to perform peace when what you need is permission to be raw. You don't have to explain the light that lives in you. Just let it speak. Take a moment, right now, to pause. Place your hand over your chest. Feel your breath move beneath it. And if even for a split second, you feel the sense that you've finally come back to yourself, that is the presence of the star working through you. If you feel seen in these words, I invite you to comment below, I allow myself to shine. Let that phrase become a declaration to the universe that you are no longer waiting for someone to validate your light. You are stepping into it fully, humbly, bravely. Because the truth is, Libra, you've always been the light. You just needed a moment to remember. It's strange how endings can feel like both a collapse and a liberation. One moment, you're holding tightly to an identity you've known for years, the reliable one, the fixer, the one who keeps it all together. And the next, the very energy that once held you upright begins to dissolve. But that's exactly what happens when the wheel of fortune turns. It's not gentle. It's not slow. And it's almost never convenient. But it is precise. It knows exactly when you've outgrown a role you were never meant to carry forever. Libra, for too long you've shouldered responsibilities that masked your own needs. Maybe you've been the quiet stabilizer in chaotic environments, the one who never lets the world see how tired you are. Maybe you've become so accustomed to anticipating others' emotions that you forgot how to feel your own. But when this wheel starts to move, it doesn't ask for your permission. It demands your participation. The change coming isn't random, it's karmic. A closing chapter that's been written in the margins of your story for years. And now it's reaching the final punctuation. This isn't just emotional. For some of you, it will be reflected tangibly: a financial settlement long delayed, a legal matter finally resolved, a message that releases you from the weight of the unknown. These outcomes aren't simply wins, they're soul-level confirmations that justice has always been working on your behalf, even when it felt silent. The money, the message, the clarity, they aren't rewards for suffering. They're returns on the spiritual investment you've quietly been making all this time. The nights you stayed kind. The moments you didn't retaliate. The choices you made with integrity when no one else saw. It's no coincidence that the colors surrounding you now are sapphire blue and radiant silver white. Blue speaks to healing. To inner peace. To softness that restores what harshness broke down. It's the color of release, of choosing grace not because you're weak, but because you've become wise. And silver white? That's clarity. That's divine precision. That's what happens when fog lifts and truth gleams so clearly that you can't unsee it anymore. These aren't just colors. They're frequencies. And when you embody them, even in the way you dress, the way you decorate your space, the way you breathe, you signal to the universe that you're ready to live from your highest alignment. What's most powerful about this part of your journey isn't that you're closing a chapter. It's that you're doing so without bitterness. You're walking away not to escape something but to honor who you've become. There's no need for dramatic exits. No need to prove your growth. The true evolution shows in your quiet detachment. In the way you stop explaining yourself. In the way you trust the wheel to turn and simply prepare to meet what's next. And this is the quiet harvest. You've sowed so much in silence. You've cried into pillows, journaled through heartache, held others while wondering who would hold you. And now, without loud celebration or spotlight, your season of return arrives. The tears may still come, but this time, they won't be from depletion. They'll be from release. From recognition. From the realization that even when it felt like nothing was happening, everything was being realigned. So if you're feeling the ground shift under your feet, don't resist it. The role you played has served its purpose. The cycle you lived has done its teaching. And now, it's time to close the script with compassion and open the door to something new, something written in your own voice. If your heart knows this is true, let it be known in the comments. Write, "I trust the turn of the wheel." Say it for yourself. Say it for the version of you who waited in the shadows. Because Libra, you've cried to water the roots, and now, it's your time to rise. Quietly. Clearly. Unapologetically. At some point, Libra, the masks no longer fit. The pleasing, the adjusting, the carefully measured harmony, it all begins to feel too heavy, too quiet, too far from your center. And that's how you know the shift has begun. You've been unraveling, not in a chaotic way, but in the most sacred way possible, coming home to yourself. That's the real change we've been building toward, not just a new phase or a new opportunity, but a new relationship with truth. Not the truth you've been taught to present, but the truth that lives beneath your ribs. The kind that pulses when no one's watching, the kind you've silenced for too long in order to keep the peace. When you stop living for external approval, something miraculous begins to awaken. At first, it feels subtle, maybe even uncomfortable, like stepping barefoot onto unfamiliar ground. But the more you stand in it, the more your soul remembers, this is what freedom feels like. Not loud. Not dramatic. But grounded, intentional, aligned. And while the world may still try to convince you to go back to perform, to prove, to smooth things over, that quiet part of you now whispers something different. You don't need to fit in when you were designed to stand true. This is the sacred doorway you're standing in front of now, not a gate guarded by judgment, but an open threshold of self-recognition. The wheel has turned, yes. But what matters now is how you choose to walk through what it has made space for. The spiritual journey isn't always about climbing higher. Sometimes, it's about going deeper. And that's what this moment asks of you. To dig beneath the layers of image and expectation, and ask with total honesty, am I living by my emotions, my truth, or am I still just trying to keep everyone comfortable? You've already begun answering this question just by being here, just by feeling this. And now, it's time to anchor it. That's why the night before this destined Saturday holds power. Consider taking a moment, even just a few minutes, to sit in stillness. Light a candle. Not for anyone else. Not for ritual's sake. But for presence. For clarity. For yourself. Place your hand on your heart and let the words rise gently. I am ready to receive the message my soul has been waiting for. Follow it with the most courageous confession of all. I'm not afraid of my tears. They are the gate that brings me home. This isn't just poetic. It's energetic. Every time you speak your truth with softness, you send a ripple into the universe that rearranges things in your favor. Your nervous system slows down. Your breath becomes prayer. And your vibration shifts. It's not about asking for miracles. It's about becoming the environment where miracles feel safe to land. You don't need to explain your transformation to anyone. You don't need to rush into the next version of yourself. The knowing is already within you, and when you honor that knowing, when you stop negotiating with your intuition, you start magnetizing the life that was already written in your name. So if you feel the pull, even just a whisper of resonance, leave your mark in this moment. Write in the comments, I release the past and open my hands to receive the news written in my destiny. Let that be your offering to the timeline that is calling your name. Not because you're broken, not because you're behind, but because you are brave enough now to choose your own voice over the echo of the world. This is what alignment feels like, Libra. Not needing to be anything other than honest, whole, and home. Libra, if you've made it this far with me, I want you to pause and take a breath, not just to reflect on what we've uncovered, but to recognize the quiet power that's been unfolding inside you all along. Because no matter what the outside world says, no matter what labels you've carried or roles you've played, the truth is this: you are not broken. You are being rebuilt. Stronger. Softer. Freer. And everything we've explored in this reading, from the stirring in your chest to the signs the universe keeps sending, is leading you to one core realization: you have the right to choose the life that feels like yours. Don't be afraid of what's arriving on November 8th. It's not a collapse. It's a recalibration. This is not the end of your stability, it's the beginning of your sovereignty. You no longer need to perform strength. You are allowed to be tender and still be powerful. You are allowed to stop surviving and start living. The universe doesn't test you to see if you'll break. It clears out what no longer serves so that you can finally rise into who you've always been without apology, without delay. And here's something I hope you'll carry with you beyond this video. The choices that create real change are almost never loud. They're the small moments when you choose sleep instead of scrolling. When you walk away from conversations that drain your spirit. When you listen to your own heartbeat and not the chaos around you. The greatest revolutions are often the quiet ones, the ones that happen when no one is watching but you. So take care of your body like it's the instrument for your intuition, because it is. Get the sleep you've postponed. Nourish yourself with food that gives you energy, not guilt. If you're sensitive lately, honor it. Your nervous system isn't malfunctioning, it's finally telling the truth. Magnesium, sunlight, and stillness aren't luxuries. They're fuel for the path ahead. In your work, ask yourself honestly, is this space still aligned with my soul? Not just your skills. Not just your productivity. Your soul. And if the answer is no, or even just a quiet maybe, give yourself permission to imagine something more. You don't have to leap today. But you do have to stop pretending you're fine. In love, release the armor. Let someone in who doesn't need you to be perfect to love you well. Or, let yourself be the one who loves you first, not as a placeholder, but as a sacred standard. You deserve to feel safe in the presence of another, but that feeling must begin within. You don't owe the world a performance anymore. What you owe yourself is peace. And Libra, peace isn't passive. Peace is the most active force of healing you can choose. It requires boundaries. It demands truth. It calls you to choose presence over perfection again and again. So before you go, I want you to do one thing, something small, but deeply powerful. Leave a comment below and write, I release the past and open my hands to receive the blessing written in my name. This is not just a sentence. It is a signal. A sacred agreement between your energy and the universe. A declaration that says, I'm done waiting. I'm ready now. Thank you, truly, for being here with me. For listening not only to my voice but to your own heart's echo. For every like, every comment, every time you choose to subscribe and share, you are deepening this soul family we're building together at Zodiac Whisper Tarot. Your presence means more than you know. And your light? Your light is needed more than ever. So stay close. Trust your rhythm. And remember, you were never here to blend in. You were here to lead. Quietly. Boldly. From the inside out. And Libra, if no one has told you this lately, you are the destiny you've been waiting for.